Hello, hello. It's Mervi. I'm an artist from Finland, and I do lots of sketchbook stuff. And today I'm planning to do a bit more. I started this sketchbook with a fish drawing, so I'm going to do a bit more watery theme stuff. I'll attempt to draw some kind of coral, and I'll talk as little as possible, which is difficult for me because I talk a lot. But I'm going to, I'm hoping to capture the sounds of the drawing process, the nice ASMR kind of sounds for you. Sounds like that. Corals seem, they're kind of deceiving drawing process because they sort of seem kind of easy, but also they are definitely not easy to draw. By the way, there's a bit of I've understood there's a bit of people haven't quite decided if corals are considered animals or not, but they are not exactly plants. I'm using some reference photos here, so I'm trying to keep my phone from not going to sleep while I'm trying to draw. So this is my daily sketchbook, and actually I'm going to move that. This may make an unpleasant sound. Sorry about that. Isn't that unpleasant sound? I'll move the curtain. So I'm doing this. I have a ring light there, but I'm doing this in a natural light today because I like how it looks, and some people may be annoyed by the shadows I'm casting here, especially because the window is on my drawing hand side. So I think it creates a bit of character and maybe makes it more difficult for AI to try and reproduce this video or use this as a training material. So there, I used this funny little pink, neon pink pencil to sketch this thing, and I'm going to use other, this is mixed media art, so I'm going to use other stuff to finish this. I think it looks pretty nice as is. I'm using, I'll show you what I'm using next. This is Ohuhu Maui series brush pens. Like this very much. I'll put them back here. Oop, oop. No noises, no noises. I wonder which color I'm going to use. So I have this piece of paper where I test everything. As you can see, I have been testing here quite a bit. Different pens and colors. So that's a nice pink. I might use that, and I might use this. This seems like it might be a pretty. It's pretty similar. I don't know if you can see the difference. It's a bit more purpley yellow, not yellow, pink. So maybe that, but also maybe something very light. Maybe this one. That might be better. I might like that. Oh, there's a very pink. These caps don't quite tell the reality of what color these are. Maybe not that. Okay, so I chose these three. If you have the same set, they are number 9, number 11, and number 12, apparently. Let's start with the lightest one. Was this the lightest one? I guess it was, yeah, it's the lightest. Testing, of course, on a different kind of paper creates a bit different kind of results. That's why if you use swatches, those paper swatches that come in some of these packs, the swatch may look different than the color that you put on another kind of a paper, like in your sketchbook or something. Of course, many people swatch in their sketchbooks the colors and supplies they use in the sketchbook, but I don't usually do that. Just not my thing. It's okay. Different people have different things, different approaches, how they approach their sketchbooks. And their art in general. when choosing a sunscreen to use, please try and choose one that says it's safe for corals, it's safe for seas, because some of the sunscreens have ingredients which are bleaching corals. And we are already causing enough trouble for the environment and for the oceans, seas, without adding to it. And I want to point out that this is not I'm not against using sunscreens, quite the opposite. Use sunscreens, it's important, just that use the kind that is not animal tested and doesn't cause problems to water systems in general, not just corals, but also your local seas and lakes and rivers. There are ones that don't have those sort of chemicals, and it's important to choose those. Let's see if I add this pink too. This is more orangey pink, so it creates a little different kind of an effect. I think I like how that looks. Yeah, nice depth to the coral. I think I made it look a bit more, 3D by adding these different shades of pink. Of course, let's see if I add some other color all together for depth or not. I'm gonna look at my reference picture, which is very much not what I'm drawing here. It's very different than what I ended up drawing, but I'm using it more as a color reference at this point. I think I'm going to use a bit of orange. I'm not showing the reference, which is not, it looks very different to this, because I don't have the right for showing it. but there are plenty of images online. I just use this as more as an inspiration than reference, really. Yeah, that orange looked good. Like that, I like that. Going to go back with the pencil. To add some details. I've been thinking about starting making ASMR videos, not on this channel exactly, although this is a bit ASMR type of an attempt at least. But I just haven't gotten around it. Maintaining one channel is enough work at this point. But do you enjoy ASMR? Watching, listening? And what kind of is it more? Are you more into sounds? And if so, what kind of sounds? Or are you more into visual triggers, or maybe both at the same time? I think this looks fun. And another thing, I'm going to talk so I cover the sound of, I don't like that zip sound so much. I'm opening the Ohuhu acrylic marker set. So do you have that? Some people seem to have a bit of shame. They're a bit ashamed of liking ASMR. Which I think is a bit of an irrational shame. But then again, I have some other kind of irrational shames, so I understand. So, are you ashamed if you do like ASMR? So I added a bit of this white pink acrylic marker. I think I'm going to add a little bit of another pink. Let's see how it goes. Not sure if I like that, but let's see. I like to add a bit of, you know, texture on my drawings. That's why I like mixed media, because mixed media is a very nice way to create texture. Also, the reason why I like acrylic markers, I kind of like acrylics, like acrylic paints too, but I find them a bit more messy, and in that sense more difficult to use, because you know, you have to clean the brushes and whatnot. You have to use. No, I don't mind that. Create made it look better. I made lots of noise there, and I moved the camera as I tried to catch the noise making stuff. So I whipped out my, this is a small collection at the moment, but my crayons. These are like crayons that are sold to children, which I recommend you to check out the children's section in your local art store too, but also maybe in other stores, bookstores and stuff that sell pens and art supplies in general for children, because there are lots of fun art supplies you might be missing if you don't check that section. Oh, and it got in half. I was being too heavy-handed with it. It happens. This is not the first color I have managed to break. It doesn't show up much on this drawing, I think, this shade, but again it's more for texture. Okay, I'm going to add a little background. I wonder if I'm going to, it's not going to be just blue, you know, as an ocean. Do I have even water in this? Water brushes, not much. Well, maybe I'll manage. So there's gonna be blue, of course. I'm using watercolors. This watercolor pen here, and I like to mix the colors here on the cover of the pen, because the cover is there neatly with me all the time. More water. Right. So if you have never used one of these brushes, usually you squeeze them to get more water to the brush end. This will mess the color a bit as I do this, because there are small spaces, and this is not the smallest brush there is, but I think that's fine. I don't want it to be too precise. I've started to enjoy making more, actually less precise artwork than I used to. I talked about maybe why in my previous video, not the last video, but previous one of the previous videos, where I discussed about letting go as an artist. I think it makes my art more human. And therefore more interesting. Like I said, I'm not going to make it completely blue. And here are some. Basically, I just used that same brush that I had painted blue with in the red pan, one of the reds on the pan, and I created a bit of a purple-ish color with it. I'm going to use a piece of paper to clean the bubble so I can get back into the blue. This is another thing I like to do with when I'm working with watercolors, is to mix them a bit more randomly. I know some people are very strict about their color theories and how to create the perfect colors they want. How do you create the perfect purple, for instance, or how to create the perfect green or whatever. I like to do more intuitive kind of, oh, I created that color now. Keeps things interesting for me when the colors don't come out as predicted. I mean, I of course understand that if I mix blue and red, it creates a purple, and if I mix yellow and blue, it creates a green, and red and yellow, it's orange. And I know the idea that, well, how I learned it is blue and red and yellow are the prime colors, and their opposite colors are mixed from the two other. Like, if you want to know what's the opposite color of red, you mix the two other prime colors. So that's the two other blue and yellow. Oh, I'm running out of water here. Blue and yellow. So those are green. Again, blue, its opposite color, is mixed from the two other colors, two other primes. So it's the two other primes are yellow and red. So opposite color for blue is orange. And of course, yellow's opposite color is mixed from the two other primes, which are blue and red. So yellow's opposite color is purple, violet, depending on which shade you are going with, but that's the basics of how to work with colors. So no, I don't use color wheels or anything like that. If I wanted to use a color wheel, I would use one I made myself. But I don't feel the need for color wheels. Okay, I think that's it. I took some time with that one. Some of my drawings in this sketchbook take a bit less of time, and some take a bit more time, like this one. I hope you enjoyed my random rambles and the drawing sounds. And the drawing process itself. And if you did, please subscribe, please like, please comment, and I would very much appreciate it if you joined my Patreon. There's a free option if you cannot spare any euros or dollars or whatever currency it is you're using in your country. Thank you for being here with me today. Bye bye. Bye bye, bye bye, bye bye.